Take us to the beginning and just tell us a little bit about you and what you're about and what got you to today.
So I was born in Jamaica. Majority of my family are still there. Fun fact, my parents were doing an expansion on our house there, and me and my brother was like watching how they were doing everything, and we made a miniature version of our house
cool.
in front of it. So at that point, I thought I was gonna be an architect. Then I found out about the math. So that completely diverted me from that path. I ended up moving to New York when I was around 8. Did school and everything there. And then the day of my high school graduation, the taxi driver who was bringing me there, he started talking to me about, how his nephew was working for Geek Squad and he was making $20 an hour. And I was like, oh my God, I have no idea what I want to do. $20 an hour is a lot. I can do that. So literally the next week, signed up for a college, got my degree in IT, and then started doing that for about 10 years. So that journey took me to Charleston, where I met my wife. While I was in Charleston, I got my first camera ever. It's a Fuji X-T3. I love that thing. It's very tactile. And a friend of mine was selling his house. And he was like, you just got a camera, right? And it's like, yeah, my realtor keeps telling me that I need photos of the house, but he doesn't have a photographer, so why don't you do it? I was like, sure. Hopped on YouTube, found some videos. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I can do this, no problem. Got there, boy, was I wrong. I didn't feel like I was the one who sold the property for the fact that the photos, I outsourced them and the editor did all the work to make them look beautiful. So I taught myself another method. I'm still improving upon it. And then my wife decided that we were gonna move to Charlotte after she finished her residency. So I decided, you know what? Now's a good time to give it a go. And since we moved here for the past 3 years now, coming up on, I've been doing real estate media.
Now, Kamar, you said that you taught yourself a different type of method from the original method that you used for shooting your friend's house. What type of method exactly is it, and what makes it different than the other method, or why did you choose that one?
The method I shoot now is called FLAMBIENT, which is essentially a flash layer and an ambient layer. When you combine those together, you get a very natural looking photo, true to life colors. Representation is accurate all around, from furniture to the flooring. The method I used before was HDR, which is high dynamic range. You take 3 photos at different exposures, combine those together, and the way you combine them could either have you a really plastic looking photo or a close but still feeling off natural photo.
Why is it important to you to have a natural looking image?
It's important to me to have a natural looking image because at the end of the day, no matter what the representation is online, a buyer is going to show up to this property. And what you don't want to happen is for them to say, these look nothing like the photo. I love it when a realtor tells me that they had a bunch of buyers come through and they all said property looks exactly like the photos. I feel like I've done a good job of representing the property. I've done a good job of representing you as the agent.
Why shoot homes? Why not just shoot, like, if you said you like architecture, why not just be a hobby photographer and shoot interesting building, high rises or something like that, old buildings? Why residential homes?
I've thought about it, but I don't know. It's just something about seeing a home and knowing that I'm a part of the process of helping someone either find their first home or their forever home, whatever the case may be there. For me, it's just, when you look at this industry, a lot of people talk about it as a stepping stone to the next one. So it's like, yeah, oh, you get a camera if you want to make quick money, go shoot real estate. Agents, they're easy to get, which is not true. But agents, they're easy to get. You shoot a couple of houses, you get enough money to buy better gear, and then you start doing something else, like corporate videos or anything like that. And I'm just like, that feels a little wrong, like this is someone's largest asset that they're ever going to purchase in their lives, if they are even able to. For me, it's more so about the fact that I don't feel like this industry is treated with the respect that it deserves.
Okay. Now, to me, which I think it's commendable, to me when I hear that you want to be a part of it, and with what you do, it's like you are the matchmaker. you give somebody, a potential home buyer, an introduction to their future home.
Yes. Especially in today's day and age where a majority of buyers start online, you don't have that much time. Open houses are held 2 days out of the week at most, maybe. So Saturday and Sunday, you got to figure out which ones you want to see. So I feel like just making sure that the photos are a great representation gives the potential buyer an idea of like, okay, well, this is a house for sure that I want to see. This one, the photos didn't really do a good job, so I think I'm going to pass that one off for now.
Okay, so you say iPhone photos is just a bad idea, huh?
Well, you know, iPhone photos, bad idea. The iPhone's gotten a lot better now.
It did?
It has gotten a lot better
Right.
now. But honestly, if you take the photo and it looks a little dark, it's probably time to hire a professional.
Yeah, probably so. Now, your business, Peak Abode Media. What does it stand for? What does it mean?
So this is very interesting to me because I felt like I chose a very noticeable name because of like the common saying, welcome to my humble abode. But no, I don't think people have ever seen the word abode written out. So they have no idea what it looks like. And it takes them a while to put it together. But essentially, peak is usually the highest and greatest in any industry. So peak, and then abode. Abode stands for home. And then media, because we don't just do photos, we also do videos, drone, and eventually we plan on adding some other services in there. So media is just the all-encompassing word.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Now, going back to some of the answers that you give, because it seems like, you know, you have a sense of like purpose of wanting to do it, right? Starting from like being a child of potentially being an architect, that didn't work out, but this still keeps you in that realm of, you know, looking at some real estate.
Yeah.
And you want to serve so people are going to be able to get a true representation of what a home looks like when they see it in person, the matchmaker. If you had to sum it up for somebody, right? And we could think about this for a second. What would be your mission if, you know, that you're going to deliver to a realtor with Peak Abode Media? What are you going to deliver? Like, what is your calling here, the mission statement?
Wow.
Oh, it's deep, huh?
That was deep. Mission. So I would say my mission is not to be just another service provider for you. My mission is to be a media partner that you could count on to help you in any way you feel that could potentially move your career or listings faster. So for example, if that means you want to do like a community video shoot where you want to highlight certain features of a neighborhood that you work in frequently, just so you could have that video to, you know, send out to potential buyers or other realtors to give an idea of what the neighborhood where the listing is located, what there is to offer, I'm your guy. I'm more than willing to do that. Again, it's not just house, but it's house adjacent because that brings in the lifestyle of it all. If you need someone to just give you a proper representation where you know these photos are gonna look great, it's not gonna be one of those where you're like, can you fix that? Or this just doesn't feel like it's the house. I'm your guy. I'm all about making sure that it's what I see in person is what I'm trying my best to capture. So just overall being a partner with you in this industry just to get you to that next level. Okay,
so you don't want clients, you want partners.
Exactly.
That you partner with on all their marketing.
Yes.
And media needs.
Yes.
Okay, I can dig it. And because you're so service oriented, right? Would that be one of your strengths of what makes you stand out, or what is there anything else that makes you stand out? Because obviously, like you're saying, like anybody can grab a camera and start shooting, right? Especially, I guess, some other methods that are easier to perform than the one that you use, right? Which takes a little bit more knowledge and skill. Why choose you? I mean, I know you somewhat answered it already, but if we summed it up, like, why should they give you a call?
I mean, it's kind of like you said, service is my thing. So most photographers, they're shooting 3 to 4 listings a day. So it's kind of in and out. They're not really, the house has to be in order or else, we're going to move on to the next one. They charge you a late fee. They charge you a cancellation fee. They do all of that stuff. I try not to do that. And it's not because I don't see the reason for them doing it. I 100% understand. But for me, it's more so when it comes to this industry, there's too many moving parts. right? So you have the seller that potentially has something that comes up so they can't be there. You have yourself, you know, I'm very big on family first. So if anything happens with your family, you need to reschedule, I'm not gonna be like, well, here's a $50 charge for that cancellation fee because it's late. It's family, I get it. You know, so things like that are out of your control. I understand they happen. You need to shift them. You thought the house was gonna be ready on Thursday, it's now Friday, and that one thing that you're waiting for it or the stager needs to get there hasn't happened yet. I totally get it. If I show up and you need to, you know, move stuff around from room to room, I totally get that as well. I'm all about working with you, not against you.
Okay. Well, I like it. If there's one thing that you would want an agent to know about media, right, that you deem most important, what do you think it is?
I've said it before and I'll say it again, true representation. I think one of the biggest things this industry allows, and I feel like it's just a really bad idea, is grass screening. My issue with it is that's the front-facing facade. That's the first thing a potential buyer is gonna see when they pull up, right? So online, it has this beautiful green grass. I get there, it's patchy, it's brown, it's not what I saw. From my point of view, that's already you lying. And I don't think that's what an agent wants as their reputation, because you spend a lot of time building it. So I think you should do everything you can to protect it, even if that means showing this property like this. Because when they show up, you're just like, okay, yeah, that's what it looked like online. There's no doubt about it. And you know, if they want to get the glass fixed, that's another service that you could potentially connect them with. So.
No. I am sure that you're not going to be shooting houses 24/7 all day, every day, right? What do you do when you're not shooting houses, my friend?
So my wife is a very avid traveler, and you're probably saying your wife is an avid traveler? I get it. I didn't travel before I met her. Travel for her before I met her was just basically me going back home to Jamaica. Ever since we met, I've been to about 8 countries now that were never on my list. So travel is a very big one. We take about 2 big trips a year, and I usually send out a notice well in advance so agents know that I'm gonna be out of town. I play a lot of video games. Like when I'm trying to figure out an idea or editing a video and I get stuck someplace, that's kind of like my break and clear out my headspace. So a lot of video games. As you can see behind me, there's plenty of books. Some of them are mostly my wife's because she's the voracious reader, but I like to read nonfiction books that deal with business, development, content creation. I know. I really enjoy this industry, so I try to advance my skills as much as possible, especially since this isn't something that I went to school for. Any opportunity to gain a new skill, books are the best way. I'm more of a homebody than anything else, so outside and stuff like that, unless someone invites me out, I'm probably in front of my computer playing a video game. Okay. Or out of the country, who knows?
Or 8 countries, that's a good amount.
Yeah.
Good amount.